Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand before this esteemed chamber today to lead the debate on the bill for the establishment of Chartered Institute of Revenue and Fiscal Management of Nigeria. This bill seeks to create a professional body that will enforce capacity building, regulate the practice of revenue and fiscal management, and ensure adoption of global best practices in fiscal administration within Nigeria. The proposed bill is a crucial step towards strengthening our nation's revenue and fiscal management framework. As we all know, effective revenue management is the backbone of any economy, enabling government to fund essential services, invest in infrastructure, provide security, and promote economic growth. Background and context. Revenue generation and fiscal management are the backbone of any nation's development. In Nigeria, with our vast and diverse economy, efficient fiscal management is pivotal to addressing the twin challenges of resource mobilization and resource optimization. Over the years, our nation has faced persistent revenue shortfalls, leakages, and inefficiencies in fiscal governance compounded by inadequate capacity and revenue forecasting. Meanwhile, research indicates lack of strong institutions and manpower capacity as factors militating against revenue generation and optimal fiscal management in Nigeria. Global financial institutions have held the opinion that Nigeria's problem is not debt, but inadequate revenue mobilization and administration. Nigeria's debt to revenue ratio has been significant fluctuation, or has seen significant fluctuations from 2015 to 2024, reflecting the challenges of low government revenue relative to rising debt service cost. Here's a summary of the trends. A, 2015 to 2019, the debt service revenue ratio remained relatively moderate, but began increasing as public debt grew. For instance, the ratio was about 65.8% in 2029, which means 65% of revenue we collect goes into payment of debt. In 2020 to 2021, the ratio worsened, reaching 96.7% in 2020 and 123% in 2021, driven by higher COVID servicing, driven by higher debt servicing costs and reduced revenues during the COVID-19 pandemic. 2022, the situation was still concerning, with the ratio as high as 80.2% for the year, highlighting service fiscal stress. In some quarters, debt servicing exceeded government revenue. 2023, debt servicing costs continued to climb, with the World Bank noting that debt servicing consumed over 100% of revenue. This implies that Nigeria had to borrow additional funds for recurrent expenditures. 2024, the Central Bank of Nigeria reported that debt servicing consumed 147% of the retained revenue. This trajectory underscores Nigeria's dependence on debt to service its budget amidst limited revenue mobilization, emphasizing the need for structural reforms to enhance revenue generation and reduce fiscal deficit. The creation of SAMAN will be a step forward towards addressing these issues. The Institute, if established, will create a structured framework for training, certification, and regulation of professionals in revenue and fiscal management, thereby ensuring accountability, transparency, and efficiency in these critical areas. Objective of the bill. The primary objective of the bill are as follows. professionalization of revenue and fiscal management, to promote professionalism by establishing standards, ethics, and certification for practitioners in the field. B, capacity building, to provide a platform for continuous education, research and development in revenue and fiscal management. Regulation and oversight, to regulate the activities of practitioners, ensuring adherence to global best practices and mitigating unethical behavior. Collaboration, to foster partnership with other institutions, both local and international, to enhance fiscal management in Nigeria. Economic development, to enhance revenue generation and utilization, contributing to national development. Structure and functions of Thurman. The bill proposes that Thurman will have the following structure and functions. Membership will include professionals from public and private sectors who meet the institute standards and pass its certification examinations. Training and certification. The Thurman will organize professional courses, workshops, and seminars, and confer certifications on qualified individuals. Regulatory oversight. The institute will monitor the conduct of its members, ensuring compliance with ethical and professional standards. D, policy advocacy. The Thurman will serve as an advisory body to the government on fiscal policies and revenue management strategies. Research and development. The institute will conduct studies and publish findings on improving fiscal systems and practices in Nigeria. Benefits of establishment of Thurman. Distinguished colleagues, the establishment of Thurman will bring the following benefits. A, improve revenue generation. By professionalizing revenue sector, Nigeria will be better equipped to tackle challenges such as revenue leakages, inefficiency, and revenue collection and processes. B, enhance fiscal discipline. A cadre of well-trained professionals will enhance accountability in resource allocation and utilization. C, increase revenue investment. Transparent and efficient fiscal practices will attract more investors, boosting economic growth, global competitiveness. The Thurman will align Nigeria's fiscal practices with international standards, enhancing our reputation globally. E, capacity development. The institute will provide opportunities for Nigerians to acquire advanced skills in revenue and fiscal management, better coordination and collaboration among revenue agencies and stakeholders. In conclusion, in countries or in other climes like USA, we have American Revenue Association, ARA, different from American Accounting Association, and American Taxation Association. In Switzerland, there is Institute of Revenue Management, respectively, whereas the Agenda 2063 is a developmental vision geared towards African continent unity, growth, and development. One of the aspirations of this agenda is a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. Undoubtedly, the realization of this aspiration will be a mirage when issues regarding the capacity of human resources in revenue optimization and fiscal management are not tackled adequately. Distinguished colleagues, my respected colleagues, this bill represents a bold and necessary step toward addressing systematic challenges in Nigeria's fiscal and revenue system. By establishing the Chartered Institute of Revenue and Fiscal Management of Nigeria, we are not just creating a body, we are institutionalizing professionalism and advancement in one of the most critical sectors of our national economy. I urge all of us to lend support to this bill as it proceeds through the legislative process. Together, we can lay a solid foundation for sustainable revenue and fiscal management in Nigeria. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I have gone through this lead debate presentation, and I've seen that this bill has some advantages for the fiscal policies. So I believe that we should give this bill the chance to go for the second reading. It will enhance the revenue generation. It will also make the physical management of our resources, especially when the government is trying to plan. They will be able to plan very well. There will be synergy between revenue generation and the physical plans. Thank you, Mr. President, and I hope my distinguished colleagues will support this bill.
Senator Wazir Amin Tambura District, I rise to support for second reading this very important bill, which objectives are very clear, and I'm particularly impressed with the fact that it is not only aimed at enhancing revenue generation, but boosting the capacity of those involved and their professionalism. Society is dynamic, systems are dynamic, and this particular area is also very, very dynamic, especially with the recent passage of tax reform bills by this parliament. And I believe that this will now professionalize the area and improve the capacity of those who are involved in these processes. Mr. President, on this note, I urge that we support the passage of this bill. However, I need to draw the attention of my senior brother to the compendium of costs. The total is above 3 billion, not 1.5 billion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Michael Adetu.
My name is Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. I also stand to join my colleagues in commending the mover of this bill, distinguished Senator Aliero, and I also want to acknowledge all of the concerns that he has adduced as the main benefits for this institute. Because as we all know, we can do, our government and the government of the country can do a lot with improved revenue generation and, of course, enhance physical discipline. So, and of course, the need to build capacity and of course, global competitiveness. So I equally support the idea behind this bill. But I must also underscore another very strong point, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. I think in considering this bill, we should also be mindful of all of the powers that this hallowed chambers has in terms of appropriation and, of course, oversight powers. And I think that the capacity and all of the improvement that we're also looking for are better channeled through all of those powers. So in considering this bill, I also want us to be very mindful as to how best can we continue to improve that powers that we have both for appropriation, because with the powers of appropriation and oversight, I'm sure, again, if we zero in very strongly, some of the intendment of this proposed bill too can be better appreciated. So in supporting this bill, I would like to also say that at the public hearing session, we should consider all of the points that I've mentioned. Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues.
Taxation again in this chamber, this state assembly. We gave the powers to do most of this. Therefore, I want, if this bill will go for second reading, I want the committee that will look into it to distinguish clearly between the difference between these two instead of taxation and instead of revenue. Revenue and taxation are the same. Revenue policy, taxation management, policy management, they are the same. Fiscal policy and fiscal management are the same. So if we must allow this bill to sail through, then we have to distinguish between the two institutions or three or four institutions that we have in Nigeria. Let's have clear difference. What's the role of this institution and what's the role of the other institutions that are existing? Thank you, Mr. President.
President, my own too is to commend the mover of the bill and his drive for
getting to see that we get more revenue in Nigeria. And I want to make it a note, Your Excellency, that fiscal policy is taxation. You know, it's taxation. There is no difference, anyhow you want to call it. We have in this chamber Chartered Institute of Taxation that has been doing wonderful work. Except there are deficiencies in Institute of Taxation, we do not need to enact another institute to give it a name. Mohammed and Sadiq are the same. You know, so if you say Institute of Taxation, Institute of Fiscal Policy, they are all regulating the same thing, Your Excellency.
Also have ICANN, you have ANAN.
We have ICANN, we have ANAN, we have Institute of Cost Management Accountants. We have so many institutes that are regulating revenue in this country. I do not support that it should go for security. Thank you, sir.
Senator Ojika, are you also an accountant?
Thank you, Mr. President, to support this bill ably presented by Mohammed Adamu Aliero. I will say that we should give this bill second opportunity to go to second reading because the committee will do its work fully. I'm a member of the committee. We'll do a professional job to decide whether this bill will go forward or stand where it is. Mr. President, it will be very, very unfair to Senator Adamu Aliero to kill this bill at this stage because it's not proper, it's inappropriate. So this bill, I plead with you because of the benefit, the merits and unmerits of this bill to go for second reading. I so support.
Senator Ojikalu, are you talking within the prison of 1990 or within the prison of accounting? Or the prison of accounting or taxation? 1999 set of solidarity. So let's hear from the account. You are an agriculturist. You want to contribute?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the President of Senate, Senator Professor Anthony Ani.
Mr. President, my concern with this is not name chartered. No. Sir, it's a duplication of functions. Like rightly mentioned by Senator Nkombo. Sir, if we keep on duplicating laws for the sake of creating the bills and all these things, it looks like we are redundant. We don't have anything to do. The best thing is we act on something that is not there or that is necessary. But this one is a duplication. It's a duplication of function. It's a communication. It's a redundancy. So I think I'm not against just because he's my senior brother. I respect him, but just because you respect somebody, you push somebody that will waste people's time. I think it is better we allow this to rest and concentrate on other things that will certainly benefit from our precious time. Thank you, Mr. President.
And for your information, Senator Rufai Hananga is a chartered accountant of repute. Senator Ningi, a banker.
And I was a former banker. I'm not going to talk about the merit or otherwise of this bill, but I'm going to talk about bill at a second reading. There is no perfect bill. It carries every bill that comes before the parliament, carries the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what happens in a bill that is presented before a parliamentary like our own? Is there any one single benefit? Completely one single benefit? If there is, even if it is one, it is our job now to say, go and consider it in a committee. Invite other Nigerians to share their opinion about this bill. Mr. President, this bill, look at the highlights: improved generation, revenue generation, enhanced fiscal discipline, increased foreign investment, global competitiveness, capacity development, better code. So, does this bill share the opinion of other Nigerians? Or does this bill not good enough for other Nigerians? Because we are not enacting these laws for ourselves. Yes, I have had a variety of ideas, objections, and the positive aspect. So usually, when a bill of this nature comes to the floor, even though it's well debated, is to now assume that the sponsor of the bill has taken time to present it to us. That is the first test. The second test, put it to the general public. So I think this bill should be read a second time.
Please, let me
Mr. President,
give a guide. I read one order. I read that order. Do I need to read it again? I don't have. Okay. So, well, there's another chartered accountant. Bear your mind, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished Aliero, FCA, FCTI. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation. Mr. President, as my professional colleagues have stated, this is like duplicating an act that is already in operation. If there's any shortcoming in the act setting up the Chartered Institute of Taxation, we should go into that act and amend it. So if we believe that we can enhance revenue by amending that act, then it is that act that we should be addressing and amending, not bringing a new bill and setting up a new professional body that will be doing exactly the same thing as the Chartered Institute of Taxation is doing. I so submit.
Deputy Leader, a quantity surveyor trying to go into accounting. Sorry, an architect, sorry.
Mr. President, there's emphasis not only in training revenue officers, but in ethically monitoring them. I think this bill should go straight for second reading.
Thank you. Senator Patrick Mgbeke, an engineer. I give you 1 minute.
Well, I'm an engineer, but I have my BS in economics. So, Mr. President, I feel that law is made for man. Man is not made for law. The area I want to come in, my brother, Binus, he has already buttressed on that. If this bill is going for public hearing, we'll spend money. Whereas already, this bill have been taken care of by another chartered institute. So, what we should do is maybe we'll refer to a committee to check, is there any amendment required on the existing law? We now bring it. But the issue of second reading, money will be involved, man hours will be involved. We are in a nation, we should think wisely. It's clear to all of us here that this may not pass. So why are we giving that room? That's my point. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I think it will be unprofessional of me.
Magajin Dankin Lafia, and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation. I stand here today and now as the chairman.
You're also an accountant. I didn't know.
A banker.
Okay.
A former banker. And a former everything. Because I've been a lawmaker, and lawmakers are into everything. We discuss virtually every aspect of our polity, and I stand as chairman, Senate Public Accounts Committee. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as earlier on said, there are already existing bodies that are saddled with the responsibilities that this bill, the agency that this bill seeks to establish. And the crux of this is about regulation, fiscal responsibility, and transparency and accountability. The question here is this: we are still struggling in everyday dealings in the polity to ensure effective transparency and accountability within the existing bodies. The bill has good intention, of course, but like Senator Aliero said, if there is any aspect in the existing act that we need to amend to strengthen and envelope this package into it, I think it will spare much more of our time, spare our resources, and going forward, a much more effective result. But if it is the decision of our majority of our colleagues for this bill to go for second, that will take more of our time, more of our resources, and at the end of the day, duplication of efforts, agency this or institute this, that, and at the end of the day, we may not really be getting the needed and required results because of conflict of interest and duplication of efforts in the discharge of responsibilities. I so submit.
Well, I think it will be quite on what he's talking about. Those in ANAM is within the latitude of ANAM members to do. Also ICANN, also Nigerian Institute of Taxation. However, we don't throw, well, it's within your latitude, but the tradition is that when you have a bill like this, just as said by Senator Ahmed Ningi, you don't throw it away, you take it to second reading and look and see what you can take out of it. And if there's no way it can go further, then it stays there. So I think we should go by that tradition. But it's within your latitude to decide to pick what you want to do. So those in favor that this bill be read the second time, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay.
Mr. President.
No, the question is on. No. You can't raise anything now. You can't. That we should go with tradition to allow you go through, so that in the second reading it can be seen whether to pick something or not to pick. Then whatever can be done should be done there. Those in favor of this, please say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Regulation and promotion of excellent revenue and fiscal management practices in Nigeria, thereby enhancing efficiency, transparency, and accountability of public financial management and contributing to the overall economic development of the nation, and for related matters, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters, as well as the Finance Committee, to report back within 4 weeks. Let me commend Senator Aliero for bringing forward this bill. It shows his passion for the promotion of the means that we've deployed to have more revenue for this nation. And I'm sure by the time the bill gets through the public hearing and all the other processes, the outcome will be something that will be in the interest of this nation. So we thank you very much. It just shows your passion, your dedication to improve the revenue earning capacity of this nation. So we commend you wholeheartedly. Thank you for all those who contributed to this debate. The Leader of Senate.